I remember getting out of the airport. We were driving, my mission president, no, we were with APs, and there was just a bunch of missionaries that just arrived. We were driving around it, and I remember thinking like how dead and flat the city looked. And I was thinking, all right, this is my life for the next 18 months. Let's go, let's do this. And then later on, my first area was kind of a smaller town up north, and so it was in between the city and a lot of just not even rolling, just flat plains. And those were really the thoughts that were going through my head. I was thinking, there's nothing out here. Who are we going to teach? The cow? Or and so that was kind of my first impressions. Also, it was really windy. I knew that there were a bunch of tornadoes, but for some reason it didn't click in my mind that meant a lot of wind all the time. So yeah, had to get used to that. That was super fun with skirts. Okay, so there is one temple in Oklahoma, and it was in my mission, and it's in Yukon, which is just a suburb of Oklahoma City, basically. It's a really small temple, and it's just kind of tucked there randomly in the neighborhood, and there's a church building right across the street from it. But it's beautiful. Love the temple there. And as far as members go, they're pretty sparse out there. I think if I remember right, there's one member for every 30 missionaries. No, that could be way wrong. I don't know. But there's some bigger cities that tends to be a lot of members in. So there's two cities I can think about, Norman and Edmond, that have an actual stake. Well, no, they have a few stakes, I think. Anyways, Edmond and Norman have a lot of wards. I'm not even remembering anymore. That's really sad. But Oklahoma City has a few, and then as far as everything else goes, there's a lot of branches or just one ward per town. I never served in an actual branch, but I know that there are a lot of branches. And there's 3 Spanish branches, soon to be 4, so that's exciting. English, Spanish, and Marshallese. So my first area is Enid, and it's actually the second largest city in the United States for having a random population of Marshallese people. And so we actually have 4 Marshallese speaking elders that will pretty much stay in Enid for their whole entire mission. Oftentimes, well, not often, sometimes they'll go English for a couple of transfers and come back, because that's just a really long time to be in one place. But yeah, there's some Marshallese influence up there too. But other than that, just English everywhere. And then Spanish. We have Spanish missionaries mostly in the bigger cities where the Spanish people tend to congregate. So yeah. Yeah, Oklahoma is the Bible Belt. I didn't really think that I'd be in the Bible Belt in Oklahoma, but they call it the belt buckle there. Probably everyone calls it the belt buckle, whatever state they're in, but there are truly a ton of churches out there, and there's a lot of Southern Baptists, or just Baptists in general, Baptists and Southern Baptists. There's a lot of Pentecostals. Seventh-day Adventist is pretty big. There's also a very large population of just non-denominational Christian churches. And so yeah, you see a lot of those, including this church called Life Church, which I don't know if you've heard of it before, but it's kind of like a broadcast church. They have one guy that broadcasts for a bunch of congregations all over, and yeah, it does that. There's a few Catholics too. There's a Catholic influence because of the Hispanic culture that's there. That's about it, though, generally. Lots of Baptists. Especially in the cities. So it's pretty common, I think, because we have about like 200 plus-ish missionaries in that mission. And so knocking on people's doors often wasn't the first time that they had seen a missionary or ran into them or had a missionary knock on their door. They know who the Mormons are, and they think that they know what we believe in, but they don't. And so that's why we have missionaries. But it's really good. It's good to talk with those people and let them know what we really believe in, and understand where they're coming from as well, understand what they believe in. We can just understand people better and hopefully get that same understanding back. Clearing up rumors, that's really fun, and it's really interesting to be able to do church swaps with people. Like, we would be teaching people, and we would say, if you want to come to, well, no, we wouldn't say it like that. We would say, hey, we'd be really bold with them, actually, we want you to come to our church. We'll come to yours too. We can kind of like see how they both work. And so that was really interesting. We could kind of get a little bit of a taste of what other religions do every Sunday and things like that. So oftentimes you'll find really really interesting people who want to learn more about the church and have you learn more about them, and then others are a little bit more closed off, and that's just typical of people and of missions. So I served in Enid first, and then I went to Norman, and then I served in South OKC. It was kind of more of the, well, I served in OKC, but close to more. And then Stillwater was my last area. So mission president's name is President Walkenhorst. He is 7 foot tall, and his wife is the greatest, Sister Walkenhorst. They're from Napa, California, and they'll be done in Oklahoma next July, so July of 2016. But they're wonderful. They're really laid back people. And President Walkenhorst, his leadership style is kind of, I trust you until I have no reason to trust you, kind of a thing. He's a very inspiring man, and I learned a lot from him. And yeah, they're the greatest. So our mission president would talk about becoming a lot, and who are we becoming and what are we doing. And so just focusing on the Heavenly Father loves us so much for who we are right now in this moment, but also he sees us for our potential and who we can become. I think that's a really important principle. I saw that a lot in my life, or not a lot throughout my mission, and continually throughout my life, but I'm only 21. It was really neat. One time our ward mission leader said something about that to me once too, and just focusing on that, and because it can sometimes be tricky as a missionary to focus on that you are really doing really good things.